Well, hello, everybody. Welcome in. I'm not used to morning radio, morning podcasts, whatever the case may be, but we are at the Farm Bureau Expo in Lebanon, Tennessee, as part of this sports collectibles and memorabilia show that is going on that my buddy Jeff Lowe helps put on. You're wondering, who is this guy? This is former plaster intern. They're all former, and most of them are smart enough not to get into the broadcast business. Alex Kranzler. Alex is a pitcher at Vanderbilt and likely will be in their rotation this year when they get to SEC play. But the reason I've brought Alex in here is not to discuss his pitching prowess, for we would be here for hours, wouldn't we?
Yeah, probably.
But Alex knows more about this business than any human being that I know. Tell people why.
Yeah, so ever since I can remember, probably from the age of 6 years old, my dad was always really big into getting autographs and stuff like that, all sorts of sports memorabilia. And I was fortunate enough. My mom, she worked with the NBA for a while, so went to a lot of All-Star games, was around a lot of cool NBA players, and that's what kind of started me getting a bunch of autographs. And then it kind of, as I was younger, it kind of took off. I was doing basketball, baseball, football, kind of just spent pretty much 7 years just pretty much spending almost all my time getting autographs. So I've built up a pretty good collection over the years.
And somehow became a pitcher in the process.
Yeah, that part's pretty cool too.
So when you go to one of these kind of shows, because I texted you yesterday and said, hey, you need to see this. This obviously gets your attention. What kind of things do you look for at a deal like this?
Yeah, so I mean, I always just look everywhere just to see because I've never been too much into cards, but there's a huge market for cards, so you could always look at those and see guys to bet on. But for me personally, baseball, I always would get baseball signed. So whenever I could find cool like Hall of Famers on baseballs that I'd never had the chance to get, whether it's just coincidence or because they died before I was born, like I'll go look at those. So I was looking a lot at like the Stan Musial, Mickey Mantle, Ted Williams, those type of baseballs. Then basketball, I'd always do jerseys. There's not many basketball jerseys here, but if there was a Wilt Chamberlain jersey, that's kind of like the big basketball piece I'd be interested in. And then football, I do mini helmets, but I'm not too into the football side. More just baseball and basketball was kind of what I did a lot of growing up. So looking at those, I was over at the table with all the signed baseballs for probably 30 minutes before this, just looking around.
Give me one or two that really got your attention.
Yeah, honestly, I did not realize how cheap a Stan Musial ball is. I would have thought it was worth a lot more than it actually is. So that might be one I go pick up after this.
Interesting. You were telling me a story about trying to get Hank Aaron's autograph, and there are a lot of stories about Hank Aaron. There's a particular photo that got my attention out there. April 8th of 1974, and it's a day I'll never forget when Aaron broke Babe Ruth's record and is, I guess, a freshman at BGA. The game was on national TV, and so as a huge Braves fan, I got to see it, and there's so many stories around it. Craig Sager, the late, great TNT sports interviewer, is in that scrum when Aaron arrives at home plate. Tom House, who now is much more known as like a football quarterback guru, a throwing guy, he's the guy that caught 715. Al Downing was the one who pitched it, and of course Hank Aaron was the one who hit it. Alex, who was in the on-deck circle when Aaron hit 715?
I don't know if I have this one. I know you've mentioned it before, but I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Dusty Baker. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one that really got my attention that I spent about 5 minutes looking at. One of the things I noticed, and I pointed it out to you, in that day and time, the Braves were not a very first class organization. And to be honest, Atlanta Stadium was kind of a dump. And the playing surface, you see it that night, the grass looks horrible. The guy that fixed all that up, when John Sherholtz came to Atlanta, he was like, I'm not putting up with this. And he went out and hired a great grounds crew, and the rest is kind of history. But you can see in that photo that the night he hit it, the grass didn't look very good.
No, yeah, it was pretty interesting to see, all the especially an older baseball stadium. I kind of wish they still kept them and they didn't destroy all of them after they switched stadiums. I think it'd be pretty cool if they were almost like museums of their own.
Am I right? For all the autographs that you have gotten, you were never able to get Henry Aaron, or were you able to?
I was never able to get him myself. My dad had gotten him, I think, twice. So he's kind of, we always fight over this because we always argue who's gotten the better guys because, obviously he's at a little bit of an advantage being older. So he got, the guys like DiMaggio and Mantle, whereas I've gotten all the new guys. But, as when I was younger and even to this day a little bit, I'll try to get some of the really good names that he's gotten just to kind of, win that fight. And we always argue about that stuff. It's pretty fun.
For those of you who are wondering what we're doing, we are again this morning broadcasting from the Farm Bureau Expo Center in Lebanon, Tennessee. The name of the event is the Middle Tennessee Sports Spectacular and Collectible Show. My buddy Jeff Lowe has helped put this on for several years, and we have done several of these kind of shows. And in fact, in a minute, I'm just going to turn my camera and let you all see a little bit of what this looks like. And hopefully this will give you at least some idea of what's going on. There's a lot out there. You were talking to a gentleman earlier who apparently knew who you were, knew you were a Vandy pitcher. And the two of you all were talking about the satisfaction level between getting somebody's autograph and simply buying it. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much won't buy an autograph unless it's a guy that, you physically can't get anymore. So pretty much if the guy is not dead, if there's a chance to get him, that's how I'd want to get him. I mean, it's way cooler when you get to, be face to face with the guy and not really have to pay money to, have him sign it. It's cooler. Some guys are tougher to get than others, being able to, kind of convince them to sign. If they don't want to sign, there's always some cool stories with that. And honestly, it makes the item more of a memory. It makes it more valuable than the monetary value of it, which I think is pretty cool. Being a young kid and being able to meet all these guys that, I watched on TV my whole life is just really cool experiences and, things I'll remember forever.
Do you ever tell somebody that you're a college baseball pitcher?
Yeah, I'll if I think they actually know what college baseball is, I'll drop it if I think it'll help me out. I used that with Aaron Rodgers last year, and I didn't think he was going to sign for me. Dropped that I pitched for Vanderbilt, and then completely shifted, became a much nicer guy, signed for me. It was a pretty cool moment.
This was when Green Bay was here.
He was with the Jets. It was last year
that's
when the Jets
right.
played here.
Yeah. So you were able to get Aaron Rodgers.
I was.
Okay. Give me maybe your top 5, because I don't want to get into monetary stuff here, but let me say I've seen a lot of his collection. It is worth a fortune. I mean, this is not some amateur rum-dum that you would expect to be a plaster intern. For God's sakes, I mean, this is the real deal. Give me maybe the top 5 autographs you have that really are special to you?
Yeah, I think the first one has to be the Michael Jordan jersey I got myself, just because obviously everybody wants a Jordan piece. He's a pretty tough signer. I was able to convince him back in 2017. It was pretty cool. He signed it really nicely, which was awesome. So, and also my dad got one earlier, so being able to kind of one up him there and get a nicer jersey than he did, that one is always going to mean a lot for me.
So you went up to Jordan
Yes.
and asked him to do it.
Yep.
And he was pretty cool about it.
I wouldn't say he was that cool. I mean, it took me a second to convince him, but I remember one of the cooler things was after I got him to sign it, I said, "Hey, Mr. Jordan, can I also get a picture with you?" And he turned to me, he said, "Don't be greedy, young man." It was pretty cool. It was pretty funny.
That's a great line.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's definitely in there. I'd say the first time I got LeBron on a jersey, that was pretty cool too, just because he's extremely tough himself. I've honestly rarely seen him sign anything in the public, so being able to get him, that was pretty cool. Same thing, really good player. I'll go 3 right now. Oof, it's tough. Probably my Ohtani jersey. I got it his rookie year. I mean, unfortunately, it's not an Angels, not a Dodgers, and I'm sure the Dodgers will be worth more when it's all said and done. But that's one that most people haven't gotten themselves. They got to pay for, so that was pretty cool.
So you got that face to face with him?
Yeah.
Where?
Actually, it was every year in New York City. They have an event where it's where they hand out the MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, all those awards.
Yeah.
So,
like they're doing right now.
Yeah. So after he won it in 2018, I'd always go to that event, and I pretty much had walked right up to the stage where they were all sitting, and I was the first guy to go up there. I don't really think I was supposed to do it, but I didn't think anybody.
You've never let rules get in the way.
I didn't think anybody was going to stop me, so I kind of walked right up, threw the jersey up on the I guess table or stage.
Yeah.
He signed it for me, no problem. Which I was surprised because he's pretty tough.
Okay, those are 3 real heavyweights: Michael Jordan, LeBron, Ohtani. Keep going.
Yeah, probably the 4th one on that list. I'll say Clayton Kershaw on a 2017 All-Star Ball. He signed it under the logo. It was he finished off that set for me. When I was younger, I used to do some of the All-Star game sets. I did every one from 2015 to 2019. So I completed, I believe it was 16, 17, and 18. So I have all of those. He was the last guy to sign a 17. I'm still kind of working on the 15 and 19. But yeah, that one was pretty cool. It was a cool story.
Okay, tell me about it, because even though I'm certainly anything but a Dodger fan, I'm a big Clayton Kershaw fan.
Yeah, so he was always a guy that, he'd sign a good bit. He wouldn't really sign at the team hotel. You'd kind of have to go to the game. And, when he would sign, he'd either sign it in Sharpie or not where you wanted him to sign it. So it was really tough to get him on a ball where he signed it where you want, gave you a good signature. So I believe this was, I would guess, back in 2018, went to the team hotel in New York City on the day they flew in. He went out to eat shortly after. I asked him leaving the hotel. He told me on the way back, which, when guys say that, sometimes they mean it. Other times, it's just trying to get you to leave before they come back. And sometimes they're just lying to get you to stop asking. But, I waited it out. I was, I guess, 13 at the time. I knew he was injured, so I knew he was going to make a rehab start. And he was probably going to leave the next day. So I knew I didn't have a shot at him at the stadium. So it was pretty much I had to get him that night if I wanted to finish this set. And luckily for me, I mean, I waited for probably 4 hours. He came back at, I think, 2 a.m. And I waited. And luckily I looked up where his rehab start was. Because when he got back, I was like, "Hey, Clayton, you told me you'd get me on the way back." And he's like, "I'll get you at the stadium." And I'm like, "I can't get you at the stadium. You have a rehab start. You're going to leave tomorrow." He goes, "All right." He's like, "If you can tell me where my rehab start is, I'll sign for you and I'll sign it where you want it." And I was like, Omaha. And I was like, let's go. And he signed for me. And then there was like 4 other guys there. I was the only guy he signed for. So it was pretty cool.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've given me 4 real heavyweights.
Yeah.
Give me one last one.
Last one's tough. I mean, there's so many guys. You know, I'll probably give you a football one. You know, I'll just go with that Rodgers helmet. It's probably the actually no, I'll go a different route. So I got Jim Brown back in 2020, and I got him by accident, which makes it pretty cool. I was my grandparents lived down in Florida, so when the Super Bowl was in Miami, went down to their house. I didn't go to the Super Bowl itself, but I kind of just hung around Miami and was just seeing who I ran in or who I could run into. And I had one Browns helmet on me. I had no clue that they were doing the NFL 100 team there. So I was just trying to get current guys. I remember like the main guy I wanted on a Browns helmet was either Myles Garrett or Nick Chubb. And I'm just walking around the city. I run into the hotel that all the NFL 100 guys are staying at. And I'm in there for 10 minutes, and Jim Brown comes walking down. And I'm like, all right, well, guess I'm not saving this helmet for Myles Garrett or Nick Chubb. It seems like I can get a good one. And I asked him. He was super cool about it. And, after that, I'd never met him before. I didn't really know much on how he was as a signer, but supposedly he was pretty tough. So,
you want a Jim Brown story?
Sure, yeah.
So first of all, I think most people that can go back age-wise would tell you he's the greatest running back in NFL history. But the reputation was that he was a very difficult interview, with interactions with fans, whatever. So I don't remember exactly what the function was, but Willie and Darren and I were on the air together, and we knew that we were going to get Jim Brown on at 6:00. And I told them, I said, guys, I'm going to get off the air at 5:45. I need to go meet him because I'm told that he can really be a very difficult interview. And so I went down and met up with him ahead of time. And whatever I had to say to him worked, because when we got him on the air, he could not have been more gracious. Loved dealing with him. That's the thing in the, what you've tried to do in the autograph world. In the interview world, there are oftentimes scenarios where you don't know quite what you're getting.
Yeah.
I would tell you that one of the most fascinating interviews that I've ever done was with Julius Erving, Dr. J. And I started the interview with a bunch of old ABA stuff. I had read the book Loose Balls by Terry Pluto, and it was clear that Dr. J took a ton of pride in his ABA career. And, because his ABA career probably is what forced the NBA into the merger with the teams. I would never have dreamed that would end up being one of the best interviews I've ever gotten to do. There are others where, for whatever reason, you just don't click. I'll tell you one, my buddy Jeff Lowe knows this because he was the one that set it up. 3 years ago, I get a call from Jeff telling me that he knows I'm coming to an event that the 2-time National League MVP Dale Murphy is going to be at. My friend Mark McGee, who later today is being inducted into the Lipscomb Sports Hall of Fame, had invited me as his guest. Jeff calls me and says, is there any chance you'd do the interview? It was going to be a sit down, hour long deal. And I jumped at it. And I'm so glad I did because that was one I felt like I knew going in would really work good. But the thing about Dale Murphy, he's signing all these autographs. There's a line from here to Montana. And I go up to him and hand him a piece of pecan pie. This is before we ever did the interview. And he turns around to me, he goes, I knew there was a reason I like you.
It's pretty good.
So, have you ever had in this world where you've gone after autographs? Have any of them then sat around and talked with you for a few minutes? Have you ever been in a setting where that could happen?
Yeah, as I got older and baseball started to pick up, I definitely would try to, pick the brains of some of the good pitchers I had been around. The first time I ever really had the confidence to do it was 2017. I was with Chris Sale. He signed a ball for me, and I had to ask him. I was like, "How do you throw your slider?" At that time in baseball, he probably had the best slider in baseball.
Right. You told him what you were doing.
Yeah, I told him I wanted to play. So, he sat there for probably 15, 20 minutes and was just showing me slider grips and stuff like that. And I threw that slider for, 5 years after that. I don't throw it anymore. I switched grips around, but that was kind of the first time I had the confidence to really talk to a guy like that more than just asking him to sign something.
And I hear nothing but great things about Sale.
Yeah, he was always good, especially to young kids. Like he made sure. I mean, every time he'd sign for young guys. I think the coolest one, but also that it kind of wasn't cool, was back in must have been 2022. It was after Verlander's third Cy Young. I was with him at one of the same dinners that I got Ohtani, and I really needed Verlander on an All-Star ball, but I wanted to pick his brain. And, I started the conversation just talking about pitching. And, we spoke for honestly probably 45 minutes just about pitching. It was pretty cool because
you and Justin Verlander?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, we both how I started the conversation is it was actually pretty funny. I go, at the time I wore number 35. So I'm like, I wear number 35. I said I didn't pick it because it was you, honestly. I picked it because of Frank Thomas. But I said, it's still pretty cool we wear the same number. And he responded with, like, that's the reason I wear it, too. I was a big Frank Thomas fan.
Really?
So we kind of connected over that. And, we were just talking pitching for a while. And honestly, he was a pretty cool dude. Then at the end, I kind of explained to him my memorabilia collection. I was like, hey, if you wouldn't mind signing one All-Star ball for me, it'd mean the world to me. Then he wouldn't do it. And he kind of, the mood kind of shifted there. So, yeah.
Okay, so when you say an all-star ball, by the way, for those of you who are just joining us, this is a former Plaster intern, Alex Kranzler, who is a pitcher for Tim Corbin at Vanderbilt. And if he plays his cards right, you might see him in their weekend rotation in 2026. So tell me about, you keep talking about all-star ball. Go a little farther with that.
So basically every year for the all-star game, MLB will come out with all-star baseball. All it really is wherever the location is. So, let's say was it in Atlanta last year, right?
All-star game, yeah.
So like when it's in Atlanta, they'll come out with, a ball with, red and navy laces, and then whatever the logo is of the game, they'll stamp it on the ball instead of the traditional MLB logo. So, what I used to do was I'd go, if there were 75 guys on the roster, I'd go get 75 of those baseballs, and I'd get every single one on their own, and I'd get them to sign it under the All-Star logo, and then I'd kind of have the whole team on an All-Star ball.
Okay, let's stop there for a second. So, obviously, I paid attention to the All-Star game, probably doubly so because it was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So let's say that was something. I don't really get into this the way you do.
Yeah.
One thing I do have that I really treasure is an autographed bat from Dale Murphy. And I think Dale Murphy's about to get in the Hall of Fame by way of the Veterans Committee. And that'll be really cool for me when that happens, because I know in talking to him what it would mean to him. But All-Star, in other words, that collection.
Yeah.
If I said to you, Alex, I know you have last year's total deal, what is that worth on the open market?
Honestly, I know it's worth a lot, but I don't know how much because,
Okay, give me ballpark.
I mean, I think I could probably get at least 150 for a ball on average. I mean, obviously, the big names are going to be more. And then, in baseball all-star games, you always get the random guys that make it, whether it's,
1
just
year wonder.
Yeah, 1 year wonder, or, a team needs a guy. So I think if I got that, it would be, pretty good value. But it's so tough because, one, they're ridiculously hard to complete for a variety of reasons. And two, I don't really know what the demand is for them. I only really know one other guy outside of me that's completed one of them. I mean, I'm sure there could be more, but it's pretty tough, especially because you're pretty much, once that All-Star game hits, you're on the clock because there's so many things that can happen. A guy retiring makes it harder. Take 2019 for example. Part of the reason I struggle with that one is Tanaka's playing in Japan, so he's ridiculously hard to get now. You got guys that.
So stop there. If a Tanaka ball were here, you'd be all over it.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
I'd probably have it already if I saw one.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many of those exist, but I'm sure at some point I'll find a way to get one. Or like, for example, 2016, the first one I completed, I got very lucky that the Marlins were in New York because, unfortunately, Jose Fernandez passed away in September that year. So
right.
There's probably only 2 or 3 of his all-star balls out there just because he was a pretty tough signer. So it's like, little things like that just make it so difficult. And then, getting tough autographs, whether it's a Verlander or like Madison Bumgarner was always tough. Those ones always make it difficult too.
Interesting. So clearly you have mastered the art of having a chance to get a tough athlete to go ahead and sign for you. If there's some little kid out there watching, some little Alex Kranzler wannabe, although God only knows why, what kind of advice would you give them as to how to approach a big time athlete?
Yeah. First thing I would say is just, be persistent. Don't take no for an answer if you really want it. I mean, don't do anything crazy where it's, disrespectful or anything too bad, but just, try to come up with either good one-liners or ways to talk to the guy. Make him really realize you're a fan, not just a guy trying to flip a signature. I think just if you talk to the guy and open up, you can kind of make him either laugh or, kind of connect with you. It makes it easier, as well as just like, not being scared to be places where you're not supposed to be. I mean, I've snuck into plenty of places I was not supposed to be. And
okay, give me a couple for instances.
So one of them was the Gold Glove dinner back in probably 2017. I didn't have a ticket. I knew they wore suits in the thing, and I was 12, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna throw a suit on. I'm gonna walk in. I'm gonna act like I belong there and see if nobody says anything to me. And surely enough, nobody said anything. I walked right in, never got in trouble, stuff like that. So, it's little things like that, or like, sometimes a hotel lobby or something like that. There's always some sort of security, but a lot of the time you can kind of finagle your way through, and people won't realize it until it's too late.
Wow. Tell me this, and then we'll go to a commercial break here in a minute. The player the average fan is like, you need to sign because you're making such and such and we're paying your salary. But I also see the other side where the big time athlete, the minute they walk out the door, somebody's there to pester them.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what they deal with and what's cool and what's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, and this kind of varies for the guy. I mean, I think it's if there's a gigantic crowd or something like that, I understand. Or if somebody does something dumb, I understand not wanting to sign and stuff like that. But I feel like if you're in a spot and it's just you and one guy trying to get an autograph or two guys, I think it takes less time for them to sign than to try to have the guy argue with them to get something signed. So I mean, if I ever made it to a high level where people wanted my autograph, like I would pretty much sign as much as I could. And I think there are some things that are cool. Like I know Randy Johnson, I just saw something on Twitter. He doesn't sign jerseys because if he ever wants to, donate to a charity, he'll sign a jersey for it so it's worth more. Like stuff like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think the guys that just never sign, I don't know. I feel like it's almost not appreciative of where they're at, stuff like that.
Who is the hardest athlete that absolutely will not sign? Because you kind of said LeBron.
Yeah.
And yet you got LeBron to sign.
So if I got him, it doesn't count?
Well, I don't care. Just go with wherever you're going.
I'd say basketball, LeBron was always the hardest. I'd say right up there with him was Bill Russell. He was impossible until probably the last 5 years of his life. He started signing a little bit.
Do you have
I do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Got lucky with that one. Baseball, I mean, Verlander was always tough. Bumgarner was tough, like I said. Ohtani's very tough now. Wembanyama actually is really tough.
Do you have his?
I don't have a Wembanyama. I mean, I'm sure I'll find a way to get it at some point, but I don't have him yet. But
you think telling him, I know George.
I don't know. I don't know if that would help. I mean,
no.
I dropped the Vanderbilt baseball, and he had no clue what that meant.
Really?
So, yeah. I tried everything last year for him. Couldn't get it. He actually claimed, which I doubt is true. He said in his contract he can't sign jerseys, which I don't see how that's true. But
probably not true.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say probably all-time hardest has to be LeBron or Bill Russell. I'll probably go with Bill Russell just because LeBron has signed private signings for I think companies like Upper Deck and stuff like that. Whereas Bill Russell didn't do any of that for years. So he's probably one of the tougher guys to get.
So because you've seen it, I took you out there to see it. Jeff Lowe was very close to Pete Rose.
Yeah.
And in fact, Jeff set up a couple of years ago an interview that I did with Pete Rose. And I'll admit I was shocked in the interview at Pete's physical condition. And I guess it was less than a year later, he was gone. You ever deal with him?
Yeah, I'd gotten him when I was super young. He was always pretty cool from what I understood. I mean, he was always around a lot of, public signings and card shows. So he was.
And would talk to people.
Yeah. He was always a good dude when it came to that stuff.
Hey, you were good to spend some time. I don't feel like yesterday when we were on, we've got certain things that we're going to do, obviously, in football season. But when we did the Saturday show and you came up here, I wanted to get you on just to talk this stuff because 100 times more than I do about what really goes on here.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck this season. We'll be watching closely.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's Vanderbilt pitcher Alex Kranzler joining us on the show. Parker, I think this would be a good time, nice picture, to go to our first commercial break by telling you We are broadcasting live today from the Farm Bureau Farm Bureau Expo Center, and excited. My buddy Jeff Lowe has put a lot of work into this, and when I say a lot of work, the name of the event is the Middle Tennessee Sports Spectacular and Collectible Show at the Farm Bureau Expo Center here in Lebanon. Among those who will sign later today and who will be here that you can meet is former University of Tennessee superstar and later WNBA megastar Shamiqua Holesclaw. He will be here later. Anyway, we'll go to our first break and tell you we'll be back to Lebanon in about 3 minutes.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. We are back on a Saturday morning that at the moment's kind of cloudy and overcast, and I have adjusted one of our cameras where you can see a little bit more of the activity. The general public will come in, I believe, at 10 o'clock. And when I say the general public, we're in Lebanon at the Farm Bureau Expo Center for the Middle Tennessee Sports Spectacular and Collectible Show. My buddy Jeff Lowe has put this together, and we have done a series of these over the last 2-3 years, and this has really been this has been a lot of fun. I want to thank Vanderbilt pitcher Alex Kranzler, a former Plaster intern. That shouldn't be held against him. The truth of it is, Alex, having grown up in New Jersey, knows more about the autograph business, card collection, all the kind of stuff that's going on here than anybody. Let's get that chair out of the way if we can. Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah,
man.
this is certainly professional because I want them to see a little bit of what all this looks like anyway. And so here is the scene. They will open up in about 20 minutes, and I'm going to adjust a little bit there to give you a little bit more of an idea of what this looks like. It's, as you can imagine, a convention center and full of all kinds of sports stuff. It really is pretty amazing. Okay, Parker, it is your job to inform the public of what all went on last night on the high school front.
All right.
Take it away.
We're going scoreboard. We're going to go rapid fire style because there were some surprising results from last night. So I'll start off.
Are you allowed to put music behind it?
I don't know how to do that, to be honest. Maybe you could sing while I go through that. I'm sure Middle Tennessee would love that.
Yeah.
Baylor beat Knoxville Catholic last night 35-7.
Yeah, turn me off.
Yeah. They just want to hear me anyway, right? No, I'm just playing. Baylor beat Knoxville Catholic 35-7 last night. Baylor, if I had to bet my money right now, Baylor is probably the best team in the state, and they are the favorite to win it in Division II AAA. BGA went on the road to Knoxville Grace, Georgia's alma mater, BGA. It beat Knoxville Grace 42-14, very handedly on the road. We interviewed Frankie DeBus, the athletic director at Dobbins Bennett. They hosted Blackman yesterday. These two teams, I don't know if they've ever played before in the existence of their schools. And Blackman got a big win on the road, 28-7, handled business. Very surprising result because I believe Dobbins Bennett was the favorite in that one. Boyd Buchanan beat Franklin Grace out of Middle Tennessee 35-0. Maryville beat Riverdale 47-18. Maryville probably one of the favorites to win it in 6A. They'll be right up there with Oakland. Going down to Middle Tennessee, Beach and Munford. That was a close one. 33-30 was the final in that one. Beach over Munford. Brentwood Academy 42-14 over MBA. Brentwood Academy going to be right up there with Baylor and McCallie in terms of favorites to win it in AAA.
Are you surprised that one was that one-sided?
Very much so. NBA is a good team, but Brentwood Academy is just they're on a different planet right now in terms of talent. They're very, very good.
By the way, you mentioned it earlier. So BGA and Boyd Buchanan will go at it next Friday night in Chattanooga.
In the semifinals, correct?
Yeah.
That'd be state semifinals. We had a caller talk about that, actually, right? Boyd Buchanan and BGA.
Oh, yeah.
He kept calling in and teasing you about that.
That they would end up playing each other.
Yep. So I was talking to George about this one before we got on the air. This was probably the most surprising result of the night. CPA beats Ensworth on the road 17-15. CPA was 3-7 heading into this one. Ensworth was 7-3. And I never would have guessed this would have happened. And plus, it was really low scoring. So CPA gets a big win. They'll move to I believe it's the semifinal round. George, they barely got into the playoffs. And now they're going to the semifinals. So,
well, okay, this will be a little bit of a bias because we're friends, but I think Ingle Martin's a hell of a football coach.
Oh, absolutely.
And I guess I'm not as surprised as maybe the rankings would have it. Ingle knows what he's doing. You know, I can remember when Ingle was ending his pro football career with the Green Bay Packers. I remember we had a conversation out in the station parking lot where I asked him, I said, why are you not getting in coaching? I said, you're a natural. And shortly thereafter, I guess he figured it out. And the result to me has been that he's one of the best coaches in the Middle Tennessee area.
We talked about this with George Robinson, but CPA moved up a division, and they had a gauntlet of a schedule. They basically played the Kansas City Chiefs every weekend, And they got, punched in the mouth a lot. And now they're starting to figure things out, and they're rolling in the playoffs. So huge win for CPA. You're right about Engel Martin. He's one of the best in the state.
Yeah, and the other thing, and I don't know all of the behind-the-scenes stuff, but the TSSAA put them there.
Yep.
This was not something that, as a school, apparently they wanted.
That was not their decision.
They were ordered into it, is the way I understand it.
Yep, they were, and now they're taking full advantage. So they'll get adjusted fairly quickly. I expect them to be
Sounds like they have.
much better next year too, or get off to a quicker start, I should say. FRA beats Silverdale and Chattanooga by a score of 49-19, a 30-point victory for FRA. We'll see if they're back in the state or back in contention for the state championship again, like they were last year.
What was their final?
49-19 over Silverdale Baptist out of Chattanooga.
It feels like there's a chance that it's BGA and FRA in the finals in that division. A year ago, BGA knocked FRA out at FRA. FRA then kind of turned the tables on them and beat them in September. It's BGA's only loss of the year.
Yep.
And do I know more about it than any other school we're yapping about? Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You're a proud alum of BGA.
Yeah, I am.
Green Hill hosted Science Hill. This was 4 minutes away from me last night, as I live right next door to Green Hill. They beat Science Hill out of East Tennessee 35-28. Green Hill has not made it past the first round of the playoffs the last 2 years, and they're heading to the quarterfinals. But the prize, they get Oakland in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, that's a fate worse than death.
it's pretty close. We'll see if Green Hill can keep that one competitive. Nashville Christian destroyed Jackson Christian last night, 42-14. Nashville Christian's a wrecking ball. I don't see anyone getting in their way.
More and more, I'm hearing that the Jared Curtis to Vandy rumor may be a little premature.
Yeah, as we get closer to December, I wouldn't count on him flipping. So we'll have to see how that goes at least. Pearl Cone, 35-21 over Crockett County. Pearl Cone got off to a rough start this year, but they've since found all the momentum in the world, and they're rolling.
And Coach Brunetti's another one that will play virtually anybody. That has been his kind of his MO.
Yep.
That he's willing to do that.
He doesn't care who you are. He'll play you. He'll play you in a parking lot. Ravenwood and Houston. This is a rematch of last year's 6A semifinal. Houston won. Ravenwood got revenge this time around, 38-7. Never a doubt for Ravenwood. And they're back in the quarterfinals. I believe they'll play Whitehaven, if I'm not mistaken, in the quarters.
Okay.
So Ravenwood, really good team, looking to get back to the state championship. Go through a couple more scores. East Nashville 28 over Fairleigh 20. Lausanne handedly beat CAK, also known as Christian Academy of Knoxville, 35-6.
Lausanne out of Memphis.
Memphis.
There's where I guess I don't understand. Now that has to be a 5-hour and 45-minute bus ride from
maybe even a little longer.
Knoxville to Lausanne.
Yep.
That game was at Lausanne.
The game was at CAK, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Either way, for one of those teams, that is a haul. And I don't know. I just think that's something the TSSA's got to look at because it just doesn't make any sense.
Another one that doesn't make any sense is Macaulay and Briarcrest, two teams on the opposite side of the state. But Macaulay won, not surprisingly, 41-14. But this,
that's a 5-hour.
A lot of
deal.
these are not local whatsoever. I mean, you have teams traveling across the state of Tennessee to play. I mean, Dobbins, Bennett, and Blackman. That is absurd. Science Hill and Green Hill. For those that didn't stay in Middle Tennessee last night, you have to travel 3 hours back to wherever they are in East Tennessee. I'm blanking on it, and you lose an hour. So
Yeah.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm interested to see if that changes. One more score, and I'm not proud to say this on the air, but my DCA Wildcats fell to USJ last night, 28-7.
Wow.
So DCA season is over. USJ advances to the semis.
So what are a couple 3 matchups next Friday night that besides BGA Boyd Buchanan up in Chattanooga, give me a couple more that ought to really get watched?
Whitehaven and Ravenwood's the first one that comes to mind. You got 2 heavyweights squaring off. Green Hill, I'm interested because I believe Green Hill is a lot better than they were last year, even though Green Hill in the regular season went 10-0. They went 8-2 in the regular season this year, but they also leveled up the competition they played. I'm not expecting them to win, but I want to see if they can at least keep it close. I haven't looked at any of the private schools. I think CPA will be playing either Macaulay or Brentwood Academy. I'll have to double check on that one, but those are some ones that I'm looking at.
Hold on. Say that again.
It's either, I think it's CPA or Macaulay or Brentwood. I'll have to double check.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I haven't seen the bracket yet. But yeah, those are some that I'm looking at, especially in the public school, the 6A.
So on the college level last night, 2 games of real note, in case you didn't see them. Clemson won at Louisville, and I got a chance to watch the game. And to me, it was the classic case. You know, over the last 10 years, Clemson's program has done a lot of winning. Now, with the win last night, they're only 5-5, but you could tell what the win meant to Dabo in the post-game interview. Man, that we were ready to go to war after that speech. But Louisville, for most of the game, appeared to be the better team. And in the end, it felt like, okay, Clemson's program is used to winning, and they found a way to win. And it surprised me because I got a lot of respect for Jeff Brom. I think he's a damn good football coach. But Louisville last night should have closed the deal on Clemson. Now, they had field goal issues that maybe.
Did they? Did they ever?
The other one is no surprise. Oregon basically ransacked the Minnesota Golden Gophers to the tune of 42-13. The closest that Minnesota ever got was 28-13 very early in the third quarter. I think they took the opening kickoff and went the distance for a touchdown. So Oregon, to my way of thinking, Oregon does not really change position based on what happened last night, at least as far as any dropping. Now, what goes on today could determine whether they move up at all. Louisville, you can, I think, once and for all, close the book on Louisville. 7-3 on the year.
No one wants to win the ACC, it seems like.
Well, the ACC's big worry, and we'll get into all this college stuff later, but the ACC's big worry right now is what happens if in their logjam Duke wins it? Because Duke is not likely, with 4 losses, to get put in that playoff. And in fact, they're not going to get put in the playoff if they're the ACC champion. And that's what privately the ACC's all worried about.
That is the ultimate doomsday scenario, because then you would have a James Madison probably out of the Sun Belt if they were to win out, and then your winner of the American, whether that be USF or Tulane or North Texas or whoever. I think it's interesting because Duke plays Virginia today, and I actually picked Duke to win the game. It's at Duke, and I don't trust Virginia right now. So that result could determine a lot, and obviously we'll see with the rest of the ACC. Pittsburgh plays today, but I know that doesn't matter in terms of ACC standings. Georgia Tech will play Pittsburgh next week.
Yeah,
Which will
and
be
that one
a
will
big one.
matter a bunch.
Yeah, that'll be a big one for the ACC.
Now, the news on Virginia, we'll get into all the college stuff later in the 10 o'clock hour, but the news, Virginia got a piece of news yesterday they absolutely have to have, and that is that Chandler Morris will play today. That's a big one.
Without him, their offense couldn't do anything last week versus Wake Forest. So the fact that they have him back is the only way that they were going to keep this competitive.
You know, you're showing right now, I'm looking at your computer, and you're showing this scene from game day. Game day this morning is in Pittsburgh. And most people think of Pittsburgh as much more of a pro town than a college town, but they're there for the Notre Dame-Pittsburgh game, which starts at 11. And I kind of think Pittsburgh is going to give Notre Dame a tussle. This is going to be a really interesting deal. And if a Notre Dame were to get upset today by Pittsburgh, huge help for people like Vandy.
Well, that's what Vandy needs. There's a chance that Vandy gets everything that they need right now with Texas playing Georgia, with Oklahoma playing Alabama, with Notre Dame playing Pittsburgh. If all three of those teams were to lose, that's Vandy's dream scenario for today.
But wow, look at that crowd in Pittsburgh.
It looks phenomenal.
Right around Heinz Field. Heinz Field and PNC Park, where the Pirates play, are right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And if you happen to be watching right now, take a look at that. The thing that most impresses me about the College Game Day show, besides the fact that the on-air people are really good, the massive amount of manpower it takes to pull that whole deal off is incredible. It really is.
Yeah, because when I went to game day when they were at Vanderbilt for the Missouri game, they had stages all over the place. And the amount of equipment people that it takes, the amount of cranes that there were, the towers, all the cameras, it is an unbelievable venue.
Okay, after the break, we'll give you a little more of the sights and sounds of what is going on here. And when I say what's going on here, I'll get specific for you. We are at the Middle Tennessee Sports Spectacular and Collectible Show at Farm Bureau Expo Center here in Lebanon. And we thank Jeff Lowe and the entire crew for all of the hospitality. We've been at several of these shows. On the split screen, you'll get a little bit of an idea of what's going on. We'll go to our next break. Parker, you ready with that?
I'm ready.
Okay. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena.
This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time. Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Okay, we are back here in Lebanon, Tennessee, hour number 2 of our coverage. You might be able to tell they have just let the group in that is waiting, and a really good crowd it is. Hopefully the shot, if you will, Barry, get a little closer. I want people to see you there at that camera. And so you can tell there's a group that let's get you in there. Yeah. Okay, good. You can see that camera there, so sort of aim at that. This is Barry Burns, who is the, I just said this wrong. Barry Barnes, my apologies, is the editor. He's all kinds of different titles of a publication called The Whipping Post, Tennessee. And you are here at this for what reason?
I am here to. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Jeff and John have this great show going on. Have toy, have sports cards, and I know both Jeff and John, and this is their second one. First one was back in May, and this is November, and it looks like we're seeing people filing through the doors.
Yeah, lower that
already,
mic just a little. Yeah.
They're already booked for 26 and 27 as well. So we're just here having a good time with sports cards and memorabilia, toy shows, toys as well.
There's a real market for this, isn't there?
There is a real market for every bit of it. Some people specialize in cards and don't like toys. Some like toys and not cards, and some are like me, do a little bit of both.
So you have a space at this?
Yes. I have 2 tables over here, and people are already buying everything. They're bought some 3D Kellogg's cards from the early 1970s, but they've bought Bugs Bunny as well. It's a mixture of everything that's going on.
So the
and the excitement is we're all getting ready for Lou Ferrigno coming.
Yeah,
tell me. The Incredible Hulk is here this weekend.
Tell me about that.
Oh, that's John reached out to him and got through to him. They tried, I think, the first time it didn't quite work, but they kept persisting, and this go around they got directly through to him, and he signed on.
So tell me about the draw of Shamiqua Holzclaw.
Oh goodness, one of the greatest lady balls of all time. 3 national championships and beat in the finals of the 4th one. Could have been a perfect season there. She's just the Michael Jordan of ladies basketball. She's fantastic. Not many people have 3 national titles in any sport.
You know, it's funny you say this because it used to just irk the crap out of Pat Summitt. Pat and I had known each other for years, but one day I introduced her as the John Wooden of women's college basketball. He hated that.
Oh, he's got the most titles of anybody still. So, but
at the time, she did too.
She rests on her own laurels, not his.
Yeah, it's a shame.
She was fantastic.
We lost Pat way too early.
Way too soon. Yes.
So kind of tell me,
what most of these people are looking for when they come into one of these. And let me tell you where I'm coming from. Earlier today, and I think you met him, I had Vanderbilt pitcher Alex Kranzler on. Alex is from New Jersey. His mother worked for the NBA. He has a collection of autographs and signatures that I'm told is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars of value.
They're there.
And he knows way more about this than I do. So I really picked his brain. He, talked to me about getting a Michael Jordan signature, a LeBron, an Ohtani, a Clayton Kershaw. So he really knows this stuff, and he knows I don't. So
Jordan is valuable. He's the greatest, but he doesn't sign a lot. He doesn't do a lot of shows. A lot of people do a lot of shows.
Alex caught him at an NBA function. So what do most of these people
guys have, like, he's from New Jersey coming down. People do their PC, their personal collection. They have what they do. And his thing obviously is the baseballs then. And if he wants a Warren Spahn he's thinking of getting today, that's an incredible piece. They're not making more of them.
Right.
And Warren Spahn, one of the greatest Atlanta Braves of all time. He predates Glavine, Smoltz, Avery, the whole shebang of all those guys that won their title in the 90s and started the whole from worst to first stuff. So it's just whatever you like. Some people, guys sold the cards to yesterday morning right off the bat, like the Kellogg's 3D cards. A lot of people don't like those. They can curl and crack a little bit on you, but he loved them and they were in good condition. So getting something in good shape makes a difference. Same with those balls. The ball itself that Warren Spahn would have signed has a value to it because it's probably a ball from the 1950s or 60s. The ball itself is valuable. And then you put a Hall of Famer's signature on it, it just keeps going up. I didn't know the 363 you mentioned. That's a lot of wins.
See, they're 361.
Most are not going to get that many.
Yeah.
Most aren't going to see 3, maybe 2 if you're lucky.
In my lifetime, I think it's Greg Maddux and then Roger Clemens who have climbed the highest on the victory total. And sadly, I would claim that we will never see another 300-game winner ever.
Probably not, especially with taking them out after 6 innings and then the relief crew blowing it for them if they are ahead.
Just out of curiosity, so at 8:30 this morning when I got here, obviously the portrait of Dale Murphy got my attention because Jeff had me do a 1-hour interview with Dale Murphy 3 years ago that was fabulous.
Yes.
And my hope is that Dale Murphy is going to get in the hall by way of the Veterans Committee.
He should be.
Yeah, in about a month. One that really got my attention was the Hank Aaron 715 deal because that's right in my wheelhouse. At these shows, how big is Atlanta Braves stuff?
Atlanta Braves is huge. I do a show in Alabama as well. They're huge down there. Scottsboro, Alabama has a show. People love the Braves. It is a regional thing, Tennessee, Alabama. We didn't have a major league team growing up. The Southeast, exactly. And Hank's the top of the list. His stuff is doing real well these days because people know who he is. He is I still say the home run king.
He's the home run king. He always will be.
Juiced, and Willie Mays was his godfather, and he broke his record being juiced. So he broke a lot of records. But believe it or not, Bond sells too. People don't like him, but they still buy his cards. He is very collectible.
Tell me about the whipping post, and let me just sort of give people a little bit of an idea.
That's a monthly publication I do. I send them to Long Hollow Jamboree. They advertise with me. I go to places down in Music Valley near where Opryland is. The clubs down there drop them off. The title is just it's a tribute to the Allman Brothers Band. I'm an Allman Brothers fan. I'm a Andy Griffith fan. So whipping post, adding the Tennessee to it is sort of like Mayberry, North Carolina. I'm making it mine. It's my little fictional town, and that's where I say deputy editor, sheriff, justice of the peace. That comes from Andy Griffith. That's Andy Taylor on the Andy Griffith Show.
How long have you done this?
I did the first one in '04, so I've over
wow.
20 years now. I did take a little time off from like 13, 14, 15 in there and did it, but I've been rocking since 16, 17 in there. I haven't stopped, had a break at all. And monthly, I've discovered monthly is my best way of doing it. It comes out timely on fashion. And I do a lot of stuff. Or a recap of the Eagles, Bellamy Brothers in McMinnville, Tennessee. I just
let your love flow.
Let your love flow. And I found out they broke that. They were living in California at the time. They came to Nashville after they had already hit, not before. So
that was either
those
75 or 76.
Somewhere in there, yes. And
wow.
Spiders and Snakes is the song they pitched to Jim Stafford that got them working in California, where they were demoing stuff for him, and that's where they found Let Your Love Flow.
Okay, let me ask a couple more sports things.
All right.
So in this area, when I was growing up, the Reds, and in particular the Big Red Machine, was a big deal, and WLW 700 on the AM dial came booming in here. At a deal like this, are the Braves way more popular than Red stuff?
There's a lot of Reds fans too, and I grew up here as well. You are a radio guy thinking radio. I think Channel 17, because Channel 17 showed the Reds.
Absolutely.
Before you could watch cable with the Cubs and Braves, TBS and WGN.
In fact,
so
we
17 was huge for. That's why there's so many Reds fans, and then cable came around, and that's what got everybody's lot switched to even the Cubs, but I think more went with the Braves because a lot of people went down there to see ball games.
And you and I got to see Pete Rose's hitting streak.
Oh goodness, yes.
Get extended because of Channel 17.
Jeff worked directly with Pete a lot with personal signings and things like that too. He was very close with him. And he needs to be put in the Hall of Fame. He's the hit king in a game of hits. You can't keep the man out.
So, okay, give me the crystal ball on that, because
I would say this year. I would put him in today if there's a way to just wave the wand and do it.
Yeah.
It was a lifelong ban. His life is over. Put the man in. You punished him enough.
What does that do to Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Roger Clemens, that group?
That's your asterisk conversation. But the one with Sosa, I've never in my life seen a bat broken at the plate and cork fly out of it. That literally is still the only time in my life. And I've been a sports guy all my life. Baseball, basketball, football, and now I have embraced hockey as well. Hadn't got to soccer yet, but I embrace sports. That's the only time I've ever seen a loaded bat, and it exploded, and there went the cork all the way to the pitcher's mound, the same as his bat going to the pitcher's mound.
Parker, help me over here, if you will. Adjust this picture, because I want them to see.
I do need to mention something on the Lady Vol.
Okay.
My favorite all time is Bridget Gordon.
Gotcha.
He was up there. I was up there from 86 to 91. Bridget Gordon, Sheila Frost, Dina Head. They were three great lady volunteers. And they get forgotten because of how good Shaniqua was.
Yeah.
No one put up those kind of stats during those first three championship runs. And that just tells you how good Shaniqua was too. But those early lady vol teams that started the title runs were fantastic.
Okay, so people can see a little hint of orange there. And I'm curious what's going to happen in a couple of weeks. And I'm going to pose this to you. For argument's sake, we're going to say that Vandy beats Kentucky. And I believe that by the time that game kicks off on Saturday at 2:30 or 3 o'clock, whenever it is, there will have been enough things happen, in particular that Friday after Thanksgiving,
Yes.
that by the time they kick off, if all the scenarios that I think are going to happen, Vandy will be in a win and in the college football
And
playoff.
we get to spoil it for them.
Right. So you tell me what you believe, because there's a group right now with Tennessee not having a chance at the playoff that don't seem all that excited. And yet I see on that game day a froth by Tennessee fans to keep Vandy out.
Yes.
What do you think it is?
I'm 100% in keeping them out. And I think a little bit of it's based on last year, too. A lot of people thought we were losing last year. We spotted them 14, then beat them by 14. Vandy's much improved. You can't deny them that, but we still have a good football team. We've lost to Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma, 4, 5, and 11 right now. And they're the same way. They've lost to 2 Texas and Georgia, 2 very good teams. We got a good D. We got a good O. They're very beatable. I think we'll figure Pavia out. Last year he didn't run on us. So if we keep him from running, I think we'll do well. And then they are beatable.
Maybe the difference being that a year ago there was a reason he wasn't running. He had some injury stuff that he was trying to mask. By all accounts, he seems to be healthy, but he takes a lot of shots.
He takes a lot of shots, and we gave him some last year. Our D line really, they did get after him. So if they just stay hungry and get after him, I think we're going to be okay. And Aguilar, I think, if he doesn't throw in the double coverage like he did Oklahoma, I think he'll have his 3 or 4 touchdowns. I think we beat Vanderbilt. And I hate McCoy not playing this year. Our cornerbacks. Gibson goes down week 1. McCoy doesn't play at all this year. That's 1 and 2. McCoy's going pro even with not playing this year, more than likely, and going to be very good at the next level. So we lost a lot, but at the same time we played. Even the Nico fiasco, we made it through the season. We've had a good season. We're going to be better. I like Heupel. I hope people quit talking about him leaving.
That has surprised me.
I've even heard Virginia Tech mentioned. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
I'll never know. But
James Franklin at Virginia Tech, that's a different story.
That's a different story, exactly. But I've heard he wants Arkansas, or someone was talking about that yesterday here at the show. And we get sports talk in here at the show too. It's just a gathering guy. We talk sports, we talk cards, and yeah, that doesn't make. He better take whatever job is offered to him.
So,
what is Clark Lee going to do, though? Is he staying put, or is someone coming after him?
Well, I believe he's staying. I believe him when he says, because I've known Clark for years, and I know what Nashville means to him. I know what his family, his dad, who is just a huge supporter of what he's doing. But here's the thing. Until I hear that a contract extension has happened, I don't rule anything out. That's the cynical part of me.
That's the rubber hitting the road with Vanderbilt. Are they going to? Is this a one and done season, or do they want to be a football team? You got to do it more than this year. Let's see 26, 27 roll around, and if he's the guy, he's got all the local ties, and we see what he's done the last couple of years. He's a fantastic coach.
On his business card, Barry Barnes lists himself as deputy editor, sheriff, justice of the peace.
That's my Andy Griffith reference. And in the scope of things, if I'm a real newspaper guy, deputy editor is a demotion because editor outranks deputy, but it's in honor of Barney Fife. It's in honor of Don Knotts.
So hopefully you all can see his publication, Whipping Post, Tennessee. If somebody wants to reach you, how can they do so?
There's 615-689-6649. You got to call.
Hold on, do it slow.
615-689-6649. That is my cell. I do not have a website, so to get the newsletter, it will be put in the mail and mailed to you. I'm just a little old school like that. I like to write, and
I like old
school. I like
school.
to hold the newsletter. The only way you can get it is to hold it in your hand.
Hey, Thank you for coming
Thank
over
you,
here.
George. It's been a pleasure.
Same here.
An unexpected surprise. And go Vols and beat Bama.
Hold on to that. Don't take that off yet.
All right.
Parker, let's go ahead and get ready with a commercial break. Again, for those of you who are wondering what in the world we're up to, we're in Lebanon, Tennessee at the Farm Bureau Expo Center. This is the Middle Tennessee Sports Spectacular and Collectible Show. We will return to Lebanon in about 3 minutes on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Welcome back into the George Plaster Show, Saturday morning special. We are here at the Middle Tennessee Sports Card Collectible Show in Lebanon from their Expo Center. George has stepped away for a minute, so he has entrusted me to yap for about 10 minutes, which I told him I would happily do because we're going to go through the college football slate as we are approaching the start of week 12 here in about 35 minutes or so. College Game Day is live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as Notre Dame has traveled to take on Pittsburgh. That kickoff set for 11 p.m. on ABC. We're going to recap what happened last night just in case you weren't at a high school football game and you were watching college football like myself. Minnesota and Oregon in a classic Big Ten matchup. Oregon won that one 42-13. George and I talked about that earlier, but there was never really any doubt for the Ducks. The closest that game ever got, besides 0-0 at the start of the game, was 28-13. And Oregon just, since that point, put their foot on the gas. Dante Moore, a fantastic performance for Oregon, 27 of 30 for 306 yards and 2 touchdowns, completed 90% of his passes. If Dante Moore were to enter the draft in 2026. Obviously, Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson are going to be the front runners, but Dante Moore would be almost a lock for that QB3 spot. Now, clearly, there is a lot of football left to be played. We'll see if he decides to come back to Eugene for another year. But if he were to declare, I would expect him to be QB3. And then this was the earlier matchup yesterday evening, Clemson and Louisville in the ACC matchup. This one was important for ACC standings. If you were to tell me in the preseason that Clemson and Louisville were going to play on a Friday night in November, I thought the stakes would have been a lot higher than they were yesterday because I thought Clemson was going to be a lot better. But clearly, the season has not gone as planned for Clemson. After the win yesterday, they're 5-5 on the season, so they need one more win to be bowl eligible. Louisville, after going 7-1 in their first 8 games, has since dropped their last 2 matchups. Last week, losing to Cal at home, and now losing to Clemson at home. So the ACC is a complete free-for-all. We don't know who's going to win the ACC. As of right now, Virginia and Georgia Tech are at the top of the standings. But as I've complained about, Virginia's 2 losses, NC State, week 2 of the season, which last time I checked, they are in the ACC. However, that one did not count as a conference matchup for whatever reason. I don't have a clue. But then they lost last week to Wake Forest. So in the standings, they're sitting at 5-1, right there with Georgia Tech. And if the ACC championship were to be played today, Georgia Tech and UVA would be the matchup in Charlotte. Pittsburgh is sitting at number 3, but technically they are tied for first with a 5-1 record in the conference, sitting at 7-2 overall. SMU is right there in the mix at 5-1 in the conference, a 7-3 overall record, and Duke is at 4-1. They host Virginia today. If you are keeping an eye on the ACC standings, that is a game that I would be looking at. I believe it's 2:30 Central Time kickoff on the CW network. This is the doomsday scenario that we've been talking about. If Duke were to win the ACC, highly doubt a 4-loss team would get into the college football playoff. But the letter of the law states that the 5 highest ranked conference champions would get in the college football playoff. What it doesn't say is the ACC would get an at-large bid or an automatic bid. It just says the 5 highest ranked conference champions. So if you're looking at these potential doomsday scenarios, if Duke were to win the ACC, there's a good chance that the ACC would not get a spot in the college football playoff. You could potentially see a James Madison out of the Sun Belt, a team that is sitting with 1 loss. This is assuming that they would run the table. And then whoever were to come out of the American, whether that be South Florida, who is the favorite. The college football playoff poll came out on Tuesday night, and South Florida was the highest ranked group of 5 team. I believe they were at number 24. North Texas is right in the mix. Tulane. Memphis, technically, they still have a shot, but after dropping a game to Tulane, I believe it was two weeks ago, their odds have dropped significantly. Navy, technically still alive. I'd say they're probably less than 10% chance. Navy plays South Florida today. So that is going to be big in terms of the American Conference standings. Miami, this is the most interesting team right now because Miami, sitting at 7-2, they haven't looked like the team they were to start the year as of late, losing a game to SMU and then losing a game to Louisville. But if you're looking at the resume, they have a win over Notre Dame, which looks really good. As of right now, they got that win at the beginning of the year, very first game. They have a win over South Florida. They have a win over Florida State. Granted, that doesn't look as good right now, but when they played, Florida State at the time was ranked. So Miami's resume still stacks up pretty well compared to some of these other teams. But the problem is they don't control their own destiny. They're sitting at 3-2 in the conference and 7-2 overall as George joins me back right now. George, did you have fun talking to whoever you were talking to?
I did.
Lou Ferrigno is over here signing. I don't guess we can really adjust the camera to show you sort of what's going on just over. Well, I guess we can.
Oh, look at that.
Over here is where he will be signing in just a matter of seconds. And, people getting in line, all that kind of stuff. It's really pretty amazing.
Yeah, this is a cool event. There's a 7'6" person here.
I just met him.
Really?
I sure did. And let me say this. That man's handshake, oh, you'll know it. There is no question you'll know it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him around here. I'm surprised I can't see him where I'm sitting.
There's Lou. Lou, if you will, smile for the camera. How about that?
Gave a nice little flex over there.
Sure did. Wonder how many autographs he ends up signing today.
Probably a fair amount, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
We have some crazy sports fanatic fans here today. So,
it is really amazing, the market for this kind of thing. For instance, Alex Kranzler, the Vanderbilt baseball pitcher that we had on earlier. Alex knows more about this than anybody I know, which is why we had him on earlier. But one of the things that has really fascinated him is the Warren Spahn ball.
Mm-hmm.
300, it's either 361 or 363 in his career, lifetime victories. And Greg Maddux, I believe I'm right, is the closest. He and Roger Clemens, I want to say, are in the low 350s in career wins. What was Spahn? Can you tell?
No, I just looked him up. Baseballreference.com. 363 victories, 245 losses.
Yeah.
A career ERA of 3.09.
Yeah. A Hall of Famer by any imaginable whatever that you want to throw out there. It's pretty amazing. Anyway, I know you've talked a little bit of college football. We'll do a little bit more. Let's get ready to go to a break. And I'll remind folks of what we're doing and where we are. We're in Lebanon, Tennessee at the Farm Bureau Expo Center. And this event is the Middle Tennessee Sports Spectacular and Collectible Show. And this is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donley Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donley have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Look at that shot right there.
Okay, let me kind of tell, because a younger audience really does not know him as well as some of you do. Lou Ferrigno, of course, American actor, voice actor, retired bodybuilder. He's best known for his role as the Hulk in the television series The Incredible Hulk, and co-starred in 3 Hulk TV movies with Bill Bixby, who played the Hulk's alter ego. So that's a little bit of what you're seeing, and a lot of folks who are getting in line to get his autograph. There he is in that camera shot, and pretty amazing.
Yeah, he does look like the Hulk still.
Oh,
Still
he
to
looks
this day.
like somebody you don't want to screw with.
No.
So today, obviously, a lot of attention early on Pittsburgh and Notre Dame, because if Notre Dame were to go down, that really opens up some stuff for Vandy, because that's, to me, a missing piece. You get Notre Dame a third loss, the Pope can't get him in.
They shouldn't.
Yeah,
They shouldn't. I don't think many 3-loss teams would have a chance. I do think there is a very small chance either a Texas or Oklahoma could sneak in with 3, but it's highly unlikely.
The other 2 are pretty obvious here in our part of the country. Alabama, Oklahoma in Tuscaloosa at 2:30. If Alabama hands Oklahoma the 3rd defeat, Oklahoma's done. You can book it.
Yeah.
The Georgia-Texas one, I happen to believe if Georgia wins, you can cook Texas, because I just don't think that, first of all, I think if you allow a 3-loss Texas to be the only 3-loss team that has gotten in the first 2 years of the playoff, the stuff's going to hit the fan, and there's going to be a lot of wow. You know,
people would not be
favoritism.
happy.
No, people won't be happy. And now, that's not to say that it can't happen, because you could have some circumstances in these final 3 weeks of the regular season where all hell breaks loose and the committee is forced into one 3-loss team. And then you've got to say, okay, for instance, let's say maybe Tennessee is one of them. Do they bounce back into the picture? I don't think a 3-loss Vandy would. Obviously, people are saying a 3-loss Texas might. This is the kind of stuff that is a committee nightmare. They don't want to have to go past 2 losses. And right now, as we sit here, what's the date? November 15th?
Yep.
I don't think they're going to have to.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think that doomsday scenario would happen where you have a Notre Dame, a Texas, and Oklahoma all with 3, and then you have to kind of figure out who's going to get in. With Vanderbilt, I don't – there's not a world to me where a 2-loss Vanderbilt gets in over a 2-loss Notre Dame if we're comparing resumes. Would you agree with that?
two-loss?
Yeah, who would have the better resume, you think, between if Vanderbilt were to win out, Notre Dame were to win out, who do you think would have the better resume?
Well, the problem with some of Vandy's wins are they don't look as good as they did at the time.
Yeah.
Certainly Virginia Tech doesn't. Certainly doesn't. South Carolina doesn't.
Nope.
Certainly LSU doesn't. Now that Missouri's lost their quarterback, it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn doesn't look as good as you would have thought early in the season.
Right.
They are great achievements for a football program that's been dead in the water. But if the committee has to decide that kind of stuff, they're probably not going to win.
Right. And I think that's what the committee is telling us by having Notre Dame as high as they are with the 2 loss and Vanderbilt sitting at 14.
But I think a third loss for Notre Dame and they're done.
Yeah, they should be, because their only quality win would be USC, who is sitting at 17 right now. It's a good win, but it's not enough to put a 3-loss team in the playoff.
So as you can see right now, Lou Ferrigno meeting up with another of the group that is here, and it's pretty amazing to watch all this.
Yeah, this is one of the best things about sports is the fans and how crazy they get, and all the stories and people like Alex who collect all these different things, and it's really cool to see these kind of things happen.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this. We'll go to a final break here, and then we'll come back and sort of wrap things up. If you're wondering what in the world we're doing, here is what we are doing. We're broadcasting live from Lebanon, Tennessee at the Farm Bureau Expo Center, and this is the Middle Tennessee Sports Spectacular and Collectible Show. Stay tuned. We'll wrap it up in a couple of moments on the George Plaster Show. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Introducing the Putting Zone, which offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. The Putting Zone will open to the public Saturday, November the 22nd. And what a great way to spend the holiday season with family and friends. It's located at 3040 Sidco Drive near 100 Oaks. Get ready to improve your golf game.
Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Okay, our final segment from Lebanon, Tennessee. We've been here since 9 o'clock this morning, had a great time. The hospitality my buddy Jeff Lowe has provided us has been outstanding. He tells me they will do another one of these kind of shows in Lebanon, probably next April or May. And the likelihood is we'll be out here again at some point. Have enjoyed these, enjoy meeting people. The passion of sports is so obvious, and that's one of the cool things. So when we get back on the air on Monday from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue, first of all, it's going to be great to have Kelly Holcomb back. As all of you know, Kelly has lost both his mom and his dad in a 3-week period. And having lost mine in a 13-month period, I can't even begin to imagine what Kelly's life has been like. I talked to him on the phone yesterday. He seemed much more upbeat, and we're looking forward to having him back. And I'll tell you this, those of you who are watching this morning, a lot of you have sent best wishes to Kelly Holcomb. He is well aware of those and very appreciative that each one of you has cared the way you have. So when we get back on the air on Monday, obviously we'll start with Titans analysis. They play the Texans tomorrow. This will be an interesting judge of where they are right now. Is there, in the off week, any improvement at all? Maybe a little bit of surge of, having gotten some rest, because I think one of the things that they are running into is this is a really long season. They knew 3 weeks into the season that very little good was going to happen. That even when you're making professional sports money, that is not easy.
Losing makes everything worse. And the thing that I'm interested to see is you have Davis Mills, who looked like an all-pro last week versus Jacksonville. What does he look like in his second start in Tennessee? How does Cam Ward look? Obviously, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. He hasn't been good enough, but we also got to understand that he's a rookie, and these are, when you're on the Titans and you have the organizational flaws that are going on behind the scenes, you have the coaching churn. I think that gives him a little bit of grace, but still, how does he look coming out of the bye week? How do the receivers look? How does the defensive line look? Jeffrey Simmons is questionable for tomorrow. I think these are all the questions that you have to ask, but it's going to be a good test to see where they are coming off of the bye.
Well, first of all, if we're honest, Davis Mills has been a pretty effective backup in Houston. He's beaten the Titans before when he's been put in a starting situation.
I feel like I'm just used to seeing him as the starter when he comes to Nashville because C.J. Stroud never plays when he's here.
Cam Ward, I think the hope would be that a week off is a decent reset for him, that he's been able to probably watch some film, get with the coaches. What are some things that I need to work on in the second half of the season? I think that's important. I don't look for this team to do a ton of winning, but I think we need, as a fan base, to start seeing some ray of hope, because in the last year and a half, there's been none.
No, there hasn't. And I think Chim Dike is a positive. I think you're banking on the fact that Cam Ward is going to be the face of your franchise. You didn't trade Jeffrey Simmons at the deadline like half of the fan base thought that the Titans might do. But outside of that, there's just not a whole lot. So the Titans, don't expect them to win a lot of games, and I don't think that's the expectation. But if they're able to be competitive, that'll at least give the fans something going into next year, if they just don't look like a college team playing at the NFL level.
We will release at 3:50 our little top 12. By the way, other than Miami being put in it, which I didn't have, I had Georgia Tech in it.
Yep.
Biasedly.
Yep. It's okay.
I thought mine was pretty close.
I thought yours was close too. Texas Tech is the interesting team because the more that I think about it, I do think that the resume is a little bit better than Oregon and Ole Miss at this point. So having them at 6 like the committee did, I actually like.
Texas Tech is for real. It would probably help them if BYU goes out and spanks TCU. That's the big late night game tonight at 9:00 from out at BYU. That would really help them.
Absolutely. And then BYU has Cincinnati next week. And if BYU goes out and beats Cincinnati, that's only a feather in the cap for Tech.
Yeah. It feels like they're headed toward BYU Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game. Now, there's a lot to still be decided, but that's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't think there's as much parity in the Big 12 this year as there has been in previous years. Utah could potentially make things interesting or maybe even Cincinnati if they're able to pull off the upset versus BYU. But yeah, it's heading towards Texas Tech and BYU.
Who is the? I know you've got College Game Day on your computer. Who is the guest picker?
Aaron Donald.
Oh wow!
They're retiring his jersey today at halftime.
Nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
What a great pass rusher he was.
Man.
And to be honest, still looks like he could play.
Have you seen the videos of him working out lately?
Yeah.
He's still got it. He
He
never
could
lost
still play.
He just, went out with the Super Bowl. So
yeah. Okay, so the I guess the maybe second or third biggest game for a Vanderbilt fan would be to be rooting for Pittsburgh. And that game starts in about 10 minutes at Heinz Field. And I give Pittsburgh at least a puncher's chance in this game, mostly because they're at home.
yeah, and you look at the spread, Notre Dame's a 12.5-point favorite. How likely is it that Pittsburgh is going to cover that? Their freshman quarterback has been playing phenomenal.
He really has. He's gotten a lot of people's attention. And, that's under the what gives them the puncher's chance is right now they're better at quarterback than Notre Dame is.
Yeah, and the defense is really good. They haven't actually run the ball as effectively as you would think a Pittsburgh team would do, but hey, that air attack, when you have that going for you and you got good defense, no wonder they're 7-2.
So we're going to end our coverage here in just a second, but I want to thank my friend Jeff Lowe, who helps put these on with John Foster. They do a wonderful job with this, and I'll tell you, they have a real following. I saw it back in September at the show that they did just south of Franklin at that Ag Expo. What they do is amazing. Anyway,
yeah.
Thanks to those of you who tuned in for a special edition of the show. Thanks to Alex Kranzler, the Vanderbilt pitcher and former Plaster intern, who really taught us a few things about what goes on in the sports memorabilia, card collecting, autograph getting. Alex is flat out an expert, and we thank him for being with us. So for Parker Kelly, this is George Plaster, and from the Farm Bureau Expo in Lebanon, Tennessee, we say so long and have a great weekend.